identify with it. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person and what they feel like, helps them feel more represented. But again, I think it's more. I mean, I don't personally. I just feel like it's fine. Like I get it. Like some more representation for some younger people to maybe trying to feel good about a character. But I've heard both ways.
Opinions on this particular topic of race swapping, and so
Is she really quiet? I'll turn myself down.
On the subject, I do think that within the mainstream,
there you go.
It's lacking. The discussion is lacking a lot of nuance, and it seems like the summary of the takes that I've seen so far is very much race swapping good. If you disagree, bad, you bigot. And I have a lot of issues with this for a number of reasons. I'll
say some people are like legitimately just racist and just don't want to see a race swap character because they don't particularly care for black people. Like there are people like that. I'm not saying it's all. I'm not even going to give you a percentage, but there's a lot of people who are like that.
The reason is because I think that the argument that everybody who disagrees with this race swap is a racist is incredibly lazy. Unfortunately, it seems like nowadays we're living in a time where people don't care to understand people with different views to their own. It seems like if someone disagrees with you, the quickest way to shut them up is to call them some kind of phobic or some kind of ism. Nuance seems to be dying on the internet, and it's very sad.
Oh well, listen, girl. I don't know if there ever was nuance on the internet in the first place.
It's very depressing because I think that this topic, I can understand both sides of it, and I think that the solution is actually very straightforward, and I don't think people need to be even arguing about it, in my personal opinion. So I'm going to share my observations as to why the two sides have the views that they have and how we can meet in the middle. Now,
I turned myself down so that I'm equal to the person, so you can turn the video on. That's what I did.
The debate is a lot more complicated than I think people wish it was. People seem to really like to oversimplify it by simply saying, those who disagree with this are racist. And as I said before, I think this explanation is beyond lazy. And the reason for that is because, first of all, it's not just white people or non-black people who disagree with this race swapping that Hollywood keeps doing. There are also a lot of black people who are very frustrated and irritated by the fact that Hollywood keeps race swapping. So to just brand everyone who disagrees with this decision as racist and to assume that all of them are white is very ignorant, in my opinion. Not only is this explanation lazy, but it also doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you truly believe the only reason why people would be upset with this race swap is because they're racist, and your idea is that people just don't want to see a black mermaid or don't want to support a black Disney film, then why is it that other Disney films that star non-white characters with non-white Western cultural themes within the plot have been massive successes? Why was Moana a success? Why was Encanto a success? Why was The Princess and the Frog a success? Why was Mulan?
Bro, can I just... It's true. Those are actually pretty good movies. I actually liked Princess and the Frog a lot. I thought the story was really good. I do think that they should have made that white girl, that spoiled white girl, they should have made her chubby. She just seemed like she should have been like a chubby Southern belle, But that's my only real issue I have with the movie.
Why was The Emperor's New Groove films? Why were they a success? I could go on and on, because it's not the first time that Hollywood has made a non-white character be the lead. And not only have they made non-white characters be the lead, but they've also done stories that centered around non-white Western culture.
True.
And these were major successes. So how is that so if people...
By the way, Emperor's New Groove is actually goated. Really good. I liked it a lot. I think it's underrated.
Or raging racists? The answer is, it's not so. People who dislike this race swap are not disliking it because they're racist, they're disliking it for a number of other reasons, and those are the reasons I'm going to discuss now. So the first explanation is that human beings are just very sentimental creatures. We build attachments to people, to things, and also to fictional characters. Women and girls, like females in general, tend to be the biggest people who do this. I mean, remember that whole Team Edward versus Team Jacob thing? I'm convinced that we lost our minds for a brief period of time during that Twilight era. But stuff like that just kind of shows you how much people...
Bro, that was crazy. Spoiler alert. I watched the last Twilight movie in the theaters. It was the only one I really had, or at least it's the first. I think I saw the first one and then that one, because I had it with my girlfriend at the time, wanted to see it. And let me just tell you, the fight scene at the end was so cool. They killed all these characters. I'm like, I respect the hell out of this. For killing off big characters, and then what they do, it was just a dream or something. I was just spirit walking into your mind. I was showing you the future if you decide to go down this dark path. I'm like, bro, cringe and lame. You know what I mean? Like, grow up. You know what I mean, dude? That's all I'm saying. Grow up.
Build attachments to things, and so we don't really like it when people tamper with our favorite characters in any way. Oh my god, I just remembered something. Do you remember when it was initially announced that Robert...
That makes sense. That does make sense to me. Because a lot of people, and there's some people in the chat saying it too, it's like, why don't you just make a new movie with like a black character? And that's a good question. Why not just make a new movie with a black character? You know what I mean? Like, there's some good black characters, like Is that what it is? Who am I thinking of? Wesley Snipes. Anyway, I think, and this is actually like a little interesting because we've been seeing where this is also like we're in the age of like revamps, right? And I saw this interesting thing. I think Matt Damon was talking about it, and he was talking about the reason why there aren't revamps anymore is because it's so much harder to take a risk on creating like a crazy film now because people aren't really going to the movie theaters anymore. It was interesting. And so maybe they feel like they can't be as creative. They can't make as many risks. I don't really know. But
Pattinson would be playing the role of Edward Cullen. Twilight fans lost their minds. They were so angry because they didn't want him to play Edward. And the crazy thing is, he wasn't even being recast. They were just angry because he didn't match the image they had created in their heads of what Edward looked like from reading the books. So imagine that's how people react when a character hasn't even been cast or established yet in the real world, let alone when it already has. Even if you're not changing their race, any type of change can be a problem because people just simply don't like it when you tamper with characters. Examples of this I can think of is in the UK. There's this really popular TV show called The EastEnders, and The EastEnders used to get into a lot of heat every single time they would recast characters because they did it fairly often. There's been so many characters that, when I used to watch it, I don't know how the show is now, but there were so many characters that they recast and people didn't like it. The people they were recast with looked very similar, they were the same race, whatever, but people just were not happy about it. Other examples...
That makes sense. I get what she's saying. You know what's interesting though? Like I wonder because I don't know who it's fake Halle Berry is. I don't even know her name is. I forgot. She'll say it soon. But like, why not use like a really good like young black actress that people are like super on board with? You know what I mean? That there's like, oh, I know why you're using her. You know, it's like it's a Hannah Montana movie. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess that makes sense. At the end of the day, I still don't care. I just didn't like that the trailer just like hyped up that she was black. That part was like annoying. It just comes off as such a virtue signal.
Alright, whatever, Dan.
That's a good point. Ryan Beers in the chat, he said, yeah, but the people who were complained about that Twilight kissing were dumb. So by that logic, so are the people complaining that Ariel's black. Okay, I get what she...
Examples from the US of this is when they recast Aunt Viv in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That didn't go over too well. Or when they recast Claire in My Wife and Kids. That also didn't go over too well. People were not impressed when they changed Aunt Viv and when they changed Claire. People don't like it when you recast characters. Not only that, but people also don't like it when one of their favourite cast members leaves the show. So for example, I'm sure there's at least one show in your life that you really love, and then one of the characters was either recast or they left the show, and I'm positive that you weren't very impressed by it. So in general, because of how sentimental we are, when we fall in love with things, we want them to stay exactly as they were when we first fell in love with them, and so we don't like it when people start changing them or start tampering with them. Not only are we super sentimental and hate it when any of our favourite fictional characters are tampered with or changed in any way, but this feeling becomes magnified by 100 when you've added the extra component of nostalgia. For example, over here in the UK, Bob the Builder was really popular when I was a kid, and most of us grew up with Bob the Builder looking like...
Did they make him, they turned him into the guy from that 70s show, didn't they?
Now, in recent times, Bob's had a bit of a cheeky makeover, and so now Bob looks like this. And they were like...
I thought that they had the voice actor from that 70s show playing Bob the Builder, Wilder Valderrama. Right? Am I wrong about that? No, he did play it, right? They made him they made him like Hispanic or something, right? Is he Hispanic? I don't know. But you get what I'm saying.
30-something-year-olds who were very upset by this and were just like, that's not my Bob. Still the same race, still the same Bob the Builder, but a different face, and people hated it because this is not the Bob the Builder that they grew up with. When you add in the extra component of nostalgia, it becomes a lot more messy.
Yeah, but you want to know what? I feel like, I get what she's saying, but we can't like forcefully hold on to nostalgia. Like they remove a lot of rides at Disney. I think about it like this, and every time they do, people get super upset, and I do too. But then I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, who fucking cares? Like at the end of the day, you need to update sometimes. Like I used to love the log flume one, like the Peter Rabbit or the Briar Rabbit log flume. It was so cool. It was my favorite as a kid. Then I learned that apparently there was a lot of racism in it. I didn't even know that. So they removed the racist parts. But now they're turning into a Princess and the Frog, and I'm like, I'm sad to see that they're removing the old ride, but like I'm happy that like my son or my daughter, hopefully I have like a couple of each, will be able to experience like a cool new ride. You know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes people are just going to complain about everything, and then you just gotta let them complain maybe, and be like, who cares? Like it's not that big of a deal. Like that's how I feel about Little Mermaid. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Who cares?
Because now you're messing with people's childhood memories. You're now messing with people's childhood. People grew up watching Ariel be a white girl with red hair. She's looked like that since 1989. She's older than me.
Wow, she aged really well.
This is the girl that they grew up with as kids. They probably had posters of her in their room. They
probably had crushes on her too, honestly, to be real here. I think, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Covers and stuff was probably of her. Their pencil case, their lunchbox. Like, all of these things of Ariel looking a certain way, and that's how they remember her. That's the childhood memory of Ariel that they had, was a white girl with red hair. And so, not only are they going to be upset when you change her features, I can promise you right now, if they had recast Ariel as a blonde girl, people would have been just as upset.
I don't know about that. I mean, we literally cannot even, like, test that to see if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that that's true. And here's why. Because, like, one of the biggest problems with the recasting of Ariel is that how can a black mermaid swim, right? It's unrealistic. Now, if it was a blonde mermaid, it's still realistic because she can swim, guys. Right? That makes the most sense to me. I'm just kidding, by the way. Okay, that's a joke. It's a bad joke. Okay? But yeah, I think that people are more upset. I don't think it would have been as intense. I do think that there could be a racial element for some people. Maybe not everybody. But I don't think it would have caught a bunch of, like, internet conservatives, like the Ben Shapiros of the world, if they just turned her blonde instead of, like, black. You know what I mean?
It's got nothing to do with the fact that the new Ariel is black. It's everything to do with the fact that the new Ariel doesn't look like the original. It doesn't matter how you would have changed her features. As long as she doesn't look like the original, people would have lost their minds, as I've just shown you with all these other examples of recasts that did go over too well, even if they were still within the same race. Because people don't like it when you change their favourite characters, especially if that's the character that they grew up with, and that's the character that they've known throughout their whole childhood. And if Ariel's looked like that since 1989, she's a lot of people's childhood. That's a lot of people you just pissed off with your decision to race swap. And the last component that I've noticed for why people dislike these race swaps is I've noticed that as Hollywood strives to become more inclusive, they've decided that red-haired female characters are going to be their collateral damage. And what I mean...
I've never heard that before. That's an interesting claim. Well, we're getting rid of the redheads for black people? Really? Is that something that's happening? What?
What I mean by that is, every time we have new black representation, we lose red-haired white women's representation.
I don't think anybody gives a fuck about this. I don't think anybody cares that I don't think this is ever a factor. I don't think anybody really cares. I feel like I've never heard that before. That's a new one. I don't think that that's true, but okay.
Every time we have new black representation, we lose red-haired white women's representation. So, for example, with the new Tom Holland Spider-Man films, where the new Mary Jane is no longer a red-haired white woman, she is now played by Zendaya, and so she's now being portrayed as a black woman. We had the same situation with Annie.
I feel like nobody cared about those race swaps, though. Which begs the question, why do people care about this race swap, then? But I feel like nobody cared at all about those ones, so... Yeah.
Also, some other comic book characters, some classic comic book characters who are redheads, who have now been replaced by black women. And so the Little Mermaid's Ariel seems to be the new addition to this trend that Hollywood seems to be doing. So it seems as though as we black women get more representation, women with red hair seem to keep losing theirs. And I think that this is probably one of the biggest issues as well for some women who...
Listen, maybe, but I don't think a single person has been like, oh my goodness, like they're getting rid of I don't think I've seen a single person make that argument. I don't think that's a solid argument. But okay, I guess it's something. I just don't like it. I think it's interesting, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody actually complain about that. People will start to pretend to care about that now because they heard her say, you know what, I didn't think of that argument, because nobody cares about it. Nobody's thinking about it logically. I think for the most part they're just like having emotional responses. But okay.
Grew up on Ariel. Ariel was the only Disney princess with red hair. There was no other Disney princess with red hair when I was a kid, and so there were lots of girls with red hair who looked up to Ariel because she was their only representation. I
don't even think you know that many girls with red hair, bro. Come on, you're fibbing on me a little bit here. I'm saying you're fibbing a little bit here.
The only Disney princess, and so so a lot of girls, Ariel's a very meaningful, impactful character to them because they were able to see themselves.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
The blondes have many to choose from. Okay, they grew up with Cinderella, Aurora, Rapunzel. You know, they weren't struggling for options of representation. Whereas the redheads, they only had Ariel. And
so here's the thing: is that like if you're gonna like use this as an argument that these young redheaded girls are so adamant, it was such a powerful, positive experience for them to like the Little Mermaid and like other redheaded characters, and that's why we shouldn't get rid of those. Then you should understand why like a lack of black characters from the past would potentially upset a bunch of little girls as well, right? Right. So like that, those two things, I feel like. Like if you're very empathetic to the redheads, why not be empathetic to like the young black kids that might be like, oh, maybe listen, I don't know, I'm not a young black kid, but maybe they'll be like, oh, cool, a black Ariel, that's like me or something. I don't know, maybe it'll have the bond more the character. I don't really know. I've never had this experience, but I've also like a lot of characters when I was growing up were white, so yeah. The new Ariel does have red hair in the movie, and she's black. Yeah, but I don't know if black people have like naturally red hair. That's not even. I'm not even making a silly racist joke there. I don't think that's like a natural red hair thing. So people are probably like, "Oh, it's unrealistic." But okay.
now they've had to lose her. And it's kind of sad because if you're a woman with red hair, Ariel is the one Disney princess that looked like you as a kid, and now you have to sacrifice her. Otherwise, if you don't celebrate the fact that you lost her, then you are now deemed as a racist. So they're essentially having to celebrate their own erasure in order to come.
If I heard actual, if I heard that argument from like somebody who's like a young redhead, I would be like, okay, I get what you're saying, but I've never heard it before, so I'm very skeptical of what you're saying.
Across as open-minded and inclusive and progressive, and it's messed up. Imagine being put in a situation where you're forced to celebrate your own representation being erased in order for you to be deemed as being on the right side of history. Now, of course, I'm very empathetic to the people who are celebrating this race swap. I completely understand why they are. You know, growing up in the Western world, one of the things that comes with being a minority is that you are going to be represented less in the media. Of course, that is changing a lot now. There's far more representation than it ever has been. But the people who grew up loving these Disney princesses and never really seeing themselves represented, I think those feelings of exclusion still linger in some people, and so when they see themselves represented as maybe their favourite childhood Disney princess, they get really happy about it, and so that's why I think they're celebrating this and are excited about it. They want to see these classically white characters being portrayed as a character that looks like them. And I've also seen a lot of really cute videos online of young black girls reacting to the trailer and being really excited because Ariel looks like them, and I think that things like that kind of really show you why representation means so much to children, and why representation is something that people actively are trying to encourage. So where exactly?
Okay, so like I can respect the fact that she put both sides in there. I wasn't expecting her to like give like a reasonable argument as to why I'm going to lose this game. Anyway, I didn't expect her to give like a pretty reasonable. I didn't expect her to take that side into consideration. So I'm surprised about that, but like, cool. Like, I appreciate that she did. So I feel like I respect that. All right, fair enough. Like, I mean, she didn't go on to it for that. She didn't go on with it for too long. Most of the video was like centralized. Like 2/3 of the video was centralized around like arguing why we shouldn't race change, and then she acknowledged people why they do want to do a race change. So it seems like it's probably a little bit more in favor of race changing it versus not race changing it. But it's still nice to. It was nice that she acknowledged the argument. Like, I can appreciate that. She seems like she's trying to do her best to be like unbiased. So.
Exactly, do we go from here? I think that
no, thank you, I'm fine.
When they have written non-white leads and also dabbled into non-white Western culture-centered plots for their movies, and the success that they've had with those stories and with those films shows that Disney knows that they can create non-white leads and create non-white princesses and still be successful. So I don't quite know why they don't do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Disney, if you can create all of these films,
I think that it's I don't know. I mean, I think it's just easier to use an existing IP. Like, it's a guarantee. Like, you're gonna get your money back on it. You know what I mean? So they're like, yeah, oh, yeah, they want to do that. They know that they get their money back on it, even if the movie sucks. So they can just be like, look, I mean, look pretty virtuous by making a black character, you know. But I will say, these conservatives melt down over some crazy shit, like that gay kiss in the Star. What is it called? The one, the Toy Story movie with Buzz Lightyear. That was like, people had a meltdown over that for no reason whatsoever. It was so bizarre. I didn't really understand it.
But they were only a detour. Sorry about that, but that's sometimes the way.
And you can also create TV shows like this, and those be successful.
Yeah, sure.
And movies like Black Panther, which featured 99.999% of the black cast and broke records for its success. There is no excuse anymore to not write original black Disney princesses. I have no idea why Disney continues to recycle and give us leftovers. Why do they keep doing this? I have no idea. And I think
it's a good point, Mr. Beard, that they haven't made any Disney princesses who are fat white guys. That's actually true. But you know, if they do that, well, bro, I don't know, dude. They made a fat white male princess. I mean, you know, people are gonna have a meltdown over that. It's gonna be World War III in America.
it's disappointing that we keep giving them credit for doing the bare minimum. To the black people who celebrate these race swaps, I really would like you to demand more from these filmmakers, because if they can use their creativity and be original when they write stories like Moana, or write...
Well, I wouldn't criticize them. I wouldn't criticize people who are like black people who are like, oh, I like this, it makes me feel happy, especially if they grew up and it was like a complete black, like you acknowledge black characters, like, I like this. I guess she doesn't think that they, like, here's the thing, especially if they have the capacity to do this with other movies, and they are already doing it, that's for them, it's just like, okay, well, we can do it, I guess, both ways. I don't know, I mean, like, I feel like we're putting a lot of thought into this, and it's, I feel like it doesn't matter that much to me, at least, but maybe it's just me.
Stories like Encanto, then why do you not demand the same for your own black representation? Why should we not also have original stories, just like other people get to have original stories, which is brilliant, because I support
but they do already, you know
because
that.
all of the successes of these other films shows us that universally, everybody is happy to support a good Disney film, provided the story is original and good. So had they simply just created a new black princess and given her own original story, people would have been very supportive of it.
She's a dirty fish, the fuck?
But they chose not to do that. They just keep choosing to recycle already pre-existing characters just so they can do their performative pandering. And I think it's time for us to stop celebrating.
Well, genuine question, maybe I'm just wrong. How many times has Disney done this, where they keep just changing the races of characters? She says that Disney is doing the right thing, I guess, by creating new characters. So what do you mean that they keep doing this? It seems like they don't keep doing this. It might be the first time. I could just be wrong because I don't really know. I'm not really up to speed on, you know, every swapped character. It sounds like it's particularly interesting, to think about. But is this happening a lot?
Really no reason why we should be celebrating this. I think it's really annoying, because I do agree that representation matters, and I think it is beautiful to see the reactions of young black girls seeing themselves represented as Disney princesses, and I think they should absolutely have that, but it should be done properly. And this isn't the way to do it properly. Leave the redheads alone, allow the redheads to keep their representation, and create new black Disney princesses. There are so many black mythologies and black folklore from African cultures, or even Caribbean cultures, that you could adapt into original Disney movies. But those stories will sit on the back burner and just completely rot away, whilst you choose to race swap stories that no one asked you to. And I think it's time that we stop celebrating it, because it's not good enough. Representation is important, yes, but it should be done properly, and this is not doing it properly. Justice for the redheads, okay? Let them keep their representation. I really hope you enjoyed this little spontaneous rant. Don't allow Hollywood to keep baiting you into racial debates, because this really doesn't have to be about race. At the core of this issue, this is about Hollywood's laziness and their lack of innovation to create new classics, because that's what they should be doing. They should be creating new classics and not recycling old ones. And those of you who have the argument that race swapping is fine, and it's a fictional character, so who cares?
Yeah.
I hope you keep that same energy if they decide to make Black Panther white, because something tells me you wouldn't be. We have to be.
I mean, listen, I personally would think it's hilarious they made Black Panther white, but I think that you know just as well as I do that the reason that they're race swapping characters, even you acknowledge the video, so you're smart enough to understand. Like, the reason that they race swap the characters from white to black is because we have a drastically over-representation of white people historically, and there's not like a whole lot of characters, like that. So it does the argument is like, hey, let's have more black representation. It makes sense. Whereas if we just decided to make them white, like what's the reason other than to make them white? You know what I mean? It's just kind of fucking weird. But okay.
Be fair, but that's all now. If I keep going, I won't stop talking. So thank you very much for enjoying this video. If you liked it, then do like and subscribe. I'm also on other socials if you want to check me out there. I will see you all Saturday.
Okay, so the video wasn't too bad. Obviously, I disagree with her for some of the stuff, but I thought it was like a pretty intelligent, well thought out video. Respect the take. I do think that the redhead thing was like ridiculous. I've never seen a single person say that. Obviously, it was more biased towards like not. Well, she was pretty expressive about how she really changed it, but she understands the argument, I guess. Okay, yeah, White Panther sounds like an interesting story. Yeah, true. Okay, let's make White Panther, maybe. No, it's not White Panther though. It has to be Black Panther, and just make them white. Right? Make it Jamie Kennedy. I don't know, Malibu's Most Wanted. Anyway, now we're on to the next one. I guess Noah Sampson saw the video. He didn't particularly care for it. So let's take a look at the video.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a response.
It's a little loud, so I'm going to turn myself back up. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of Tinkerbellin.
To a creator called Patience Xena. Not sure if it's Gina or Xena. I haven't seen it pronounced anywhere, so I'm just going to call her Patience from here on out. Hope that's okay. The video is titled, "Why Does Hollywood Keep Doing This?" and concerns the recent controversies surrounding the casting of the actress and singer Halle Bailey for the role of Ariel.
That's it. Halle Berry is in my head.
The white red-headed mermaid character in Disney's upcoming live-action remake of their 1989 film, The Little Mermaid. Before I get into the video, I'd like to go through a disclaimer here, if you guys don't mind. If you guys do mind, sorry, because I'm doing it anyway. So when it comes to political critique on YouTube, a good general rule is to only respond to creators that are larger than you. The reason being that their ideas are usually getting as much or more traction than yours, and are therefore more worthy of response and debunking.
I think that's silly. Personally, I think that like it's perfectly reasonable to respond to anybody as long as you're just respectful. That's the whole point. Especially since like this could. I mean, it looks like it had a positive impact on her channel. I think, right? Like he showed Patience Xena, and I think that she had 82,000 subscribers at the start of this when he did it, and now she has 103. So it seemed to be good for her. Again, as long as it's respectful, I don't care about it. I feel like Noah Sampson's just sweating a little bit, but yeah, I think you should be able to respond to whatever, dude. I think he's worried about coming off as insensitive or something. But as long as you don't say anything racist, you're good, right?
To hear are getting traction. Mainly, though, just a few weeks ago, she posted her 10,000 subscriber Q&A, and again, she's currently at 70. Wow. If she continues,
she's blowing up. Good for her.
On this growth path, which I believe she will. She'll be a very large channel relatively soon. So before that happens, I'd like to take the opportunity to do what I hope will be understood as levying a good faith critique of her work, because the larger one gets on YouTube, generally speaking, the less willing they are to engage with criticism. Patience wrote a post on her community tab a few days ago.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I used to be a big boy on YouTube, but so I kind of get it. But it's weird because some of it's just like it's so weird. Sometimes you just don't. When you get bigger, sometimes it can be difficult to differentiate reasonable criticism versus people just like shouting and hating on you. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people fall into that trap. Unfortunately.
It reads, "The random comments calling me far right are hilarious. This is why you should avoid echo chambers, folks. They'll make you angry and kooky." So clearly, Patience is no fan of echo chambers. She has no patience for them. Sorry. If that is the case, I'd like to think that criticism should be welcome, but I suppose we will see. Regardless, I hope it goes without saying that if you're going to engage with her in any way, only do so if you're going to be constructive.
Just bully her, guys. If you are looking to watch my video, go bully her into oblivion. Just kidding. Don't do that. I mean, I'm smaller now. I restarted my channel, so I have nobody even to hell to go bully people. It's unfortunate. Plus, all my bully boys. Okay. Next year, 2023, is going to be the big year. We're going to explode. And I'll remember all my friends that were there for me. All right? All right? Let's do it, baby.
Thank you. All right, that's enough of my deranged ramblings. Let's get into the video. I've left Patience's video linked in the description. I would encourage you to go watch it before you watch this so you can be sure I'm not...
I did!
...your arguments. If you're short on time, though, I'll try my best to include all the relevant clips. So, in this video, Patience raises a number of points in support of her main cases. That the backlash over Halle Bailey's casting as Ariel in the live-action Little Mermaid is, for the most part, justified. It's not motivated by racism, but by a number of valid reasons, which she goes on to outline.
I will say, I think that, like, most things, and this isn't a particularly profound thing to say or think, but, like, when I first realized it, it was profound to me. But I think most things are just a mixture of different variables. I know it's so stupid, But I think I think that there are some people who have genuine concerns. Possibly, maybe it is nostalgia, and then there's some people I think that are like legitimately racist. I think some people just don't want to see a black character. I don't think. Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. You know.
Side of the debate is a lot more complicated than I think people wish it was. People seem to really like to oversimplify it by simply saying, those who disagree with this are racist. And as I said before, I think this explanation is beyond lazy. People who dislike this race swap are not disliking it because they're racist, they're disliking it for a number of other reasons. And those are the reasons I'm going to discuss.
The conclusion, which is framed as a compromise of sorts, is that we need more standalone non-white stories instead of recasting white roles with non-white actors.
So had they simply created a new black princess and given her own original story, people would have been very supportive of it, but they chose not to do that. They just keep choosing to recycle already pre-existing characters just so they can do their performative pandering. And I think it's time for us to stop celebrating that.
Before we address this conclusion and some of these reasons, I want to talk for a moment about bias. Throughout this video, Patience describes how this controversy over race swapping is not getting the nuance it deserves. She laments the way that the mainstream discourse surrounding it is driven.
I do agree with her. It doesn't mean I do agree with her perspective, but I do agree that people aren't really being very nuanced about it. Some people are just saying racisms, and then they're kind of like they're taking the easy dub, or what they feel is an easy dub. I do think that that's a little ignorant. I think there's some people who have like valid reasons. You know, like for instance, the 1,600 redheaded friends I have, they're like, I'm so upset that we lost another redheaded character. I'm good.
And those who are labeling everyone that disagrees as racist.
I do think that within the mainstream, the discussion is lacking a lot of nuance. It seems like the summary of the takes that I've seen so far is very much race swapping good. If you disagree, bad, you bigot. And I have a lot of issue with this for a number of reasons.
At one point, she says that it's wrong how they're forcing redheads to celebrate their own erasure in the name of inclusivity.
If you're a woman with red hair, Ariel is the one Disney princess that looked like you as a kid, and now you have to sacrifice her. Otherwise, if you don't celebrate the fact that you've lost her, then you are now deemed as a racist. So they're essentially having to celebrate their...
You know, so here's the thing with that specific argument. Like, if I heard a black girl, if I heard a redhead say that, I'd be like, okay, I get you. But I never heard one say that, dude. You know, I've never heard one say that. Like, hey, I'm a redhead and I don't like you're getting rid of redheads. I've never heard a singular person say that or seen it at all. It just seems like an argument, like an intelligent argument that's a little bit dishonest, you know?
Own erasure in order to come across as open-minded and inclusive and progressive. And it's messed up.
One question that I think is important we ask here, though, is this what's really going on? And if it is, who is saying this? Who is labeling everyone as racist and forcing redheads to celebrate their own erasure? In this video, Patience doesn't show anyone saying either of these things. She doesn't give any examples or cite any quotes where people are calling everyone racist. The only citation of any opposition to this backlash is the following clip, which she plays at the very start of her video from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
The Little Mermaid is white, not black.
Really, people? We're doing this again? Huh? She looks nothing like they both have the tail, huh? They both have the red. She looks nothing like her. How do I even know that she's a mermaid? Once again, a bunch of internet racists off.
I feel like mermaids would be like super scary and ugly looking in the real world, bro. Honestly. And I think the biggest problem I have, all jokes aside, I think that the biggest issue I have, like, with the race swap is it is unrealistic. Like, people don't understand how unrealistic it is. But honestly, like, to me, it's like, what's next? Are you gonna start having like fish sing? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to recast a mermaid character to black, because they would you'd be white under the ocean because you're not getting any sun. So that's like, first you recast the character to black, then you're gonna make like a fish sing, or a lobster play drums on the back of a turtle. It doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? It should stay faithful to the original Little Mermaid. That was like the original Little Mermaid that portrayed mermaids as they are in the real world, which is two-dimensional, obviously. Duh.
Said that a fictional character is being played by a black person. And honestly, I don't know what the big deal is.
Hello, darling. Welcome to a
hello, darling.
dive.
So Noah here is not saying that everyone who dislikes this casting choice is racist, nor is he saying that white redheads should be forced to love this casting at the expense of their own representation. Far from it. Later on in that same episode of The Daily Show, he responds with empathy to the notion that for little redhead white girls who saw themselves in the original film, things may be different in the new one.
No, but the Little Mermaid, she means so much, and I don't deny that. I don't deny that it must have been amazing for any redhead little girls who see The Little Mermaid. It must have been amazing. It's a beautiful experience. But the movie's still there. You know what I'm saying? It's not gone.
What Noah is saying here, though, is that racists on the internet were mad about this casting choice.
That's
true. Upon release of the trailer, the hashtag #NotMyAriel began trending on Twitter. The hashtag was used to share racist comments.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. Damn. That was intense, dude. I didn't know it was this bad. Oh my Lord, dude. Okay. Fuck, that's fucked up. Oh, that's just fucked up, bro. It's just really fucked up.
And memes like these, which date back to when Bailey's casting was first announced in 2019, but were recirculated when the new trailer was released in September.
That's really sad though, because could you imagine just being like that black actress, especially, but like any like a little black girl that was like looking forward to the change, and then you get like a barrage by a bunch of like really racist imagery of like fucking, like that's fucked, bro. That's really obviously very fucked. That's fucked up.
The video of the trailer was dislike bombed, with the current count at 3.2 million dislikes. You might say, well, no, that's not proof that people are being racist. Maybe out of all those 3.2 million people, 0 of them were disliking the video for racist reasons. And, well, I personally have a hard time believing that 3.2 million internet users can congregate anywhere without a significant portion of them being there for racist reasons. Not the 4chan, Gamergate internet, not the N-word was trending on Twitter last week internet.
Jesus Christ.
Scratch that example. Fine, whatever. One of the most widely criticized examples of the sort of racism here was when a Twitter account used artificial intelligence to make Halle Bailey white. They CGI whitewashed a clip from the
Is this one racist though, or is this one just like kind of ignorant? I don't know. Okay.
trailer. Many celebrated the work, hyping up the possibility of this being done to the entire film. Truly woke stuff. The tweet reads, credits to our artificial intelligence scientist, 10 gazillion IQ. He fixed The Little Mermaid and turned the woke actor into a ginger white girl. Woke there is being used as a stand-in for black, which is a fairly common thing among the reactionary crowd. You know, if you're white, you're just white, but if you're not white, you're political, you're woke. Coincidentally for them, wokeness is an evil force that's corrupting Western society, and they're trying to exterminate it. But I digress. Some pretty prominent YouTubers like Abba and Preach and The Quartering downplayed and even defended this more transparently racist example from the controversy.
Like in Side by Side, where they had replaced Halle Berry with some generic redhead.
He said Halle Berry instead of whatever her actual name is, and I just simply can't remember.
I get the meme, but I just knew that this was going to be the shot that sparked a billion reads. And within hours, both accounts were suspended off Twitter. Why? I don't know. I've been told by all the leftists out there that mermaids don't exist. And so the race of said mermaids is not relevant. So when you turn Ariel black, that's stunning and progressive. When you turn Ariel white, you're suspended.
To briefly address this,
I mean, even if you agree that, or don't think that they should change the race, like, we have to acknowledge that that's a dumb fucking argument, right? Like, again, we've already talked about, like, why changing something to white in this context would be more racially insensitive at the very least. But I would say probably in that instance racist, versus, like, making a character black is for more representation where historically there had been none, especially with, like, Western beauty standards and all that jazz, you know what I mean? Okay.
Cowardly argument from Quartering here. No, mermaids aren't real, but Halle Bailey is. The video is whitewashing not just a character, but a real human being, the actor playing the character. Making a real black human being
Bruh,
and saying,
what the hell? He literally just came out of nowhere.
Racist, yes, that is a racist thing to do. Sorry to break.
Strong argument there.
What else to call it, you know? So to return to this idea of bias, does Patience engage with any of these examples of racism in her video? No, she doesn't. She doesn't even bring them up. And was this intentional? I don't know. I'm
probably
not a reader. It's certainly possible that she just wanted to give her opinion on this topic.
I mean, it's a good point, though, because, like, listen, maybe she just didn't think of it. You know, I didn't know about all that stuff, because I'm not, like, so terminally online, you know what I mean? But, and that's not calling Noah terminally online. That's just, like, I don't know. I don't really care about this topic. Like, it's an interesting topic. Like, these two individuals talking about the topic are interesting. The topic itself, you know, like, I don't know why people care so much about the fucking race of the Little Mermaid. Like, it just means so very, you know, it's little to me. I don't know why people are shitting their pants about it. But, yeah, I even noticed when I watched the video, no offense to her, because she made the video was really good, but it was well thought out. but it seemed like she kind of like at the end she acknowledged that she understands like why some people like want the race change to happen, but she kind of like, I don't know, it felt like she only went on for about like 30 seconds, whereas most of the video was obviously in defense of the race change, so came off as a little. It just came off as obviously biased, but like I think that's her perspective, right? I mean, all of our perspectives are going to be biased to some extent, right?
Topic give voice to the points that she felt were underrepresented, and hadn't looked into any of these examples of racism. But what I do know is that without doing that, in this video, she is presenting a very biased view of this controversy, one that fails to accurately portray the opposing viewpoint that there may be some legitimate concern over the racist origins of this backlash. And so, what's the problem with all this then? Well, see, this sort of bias in online content is how echo chambers form. If an audience member is willing to take patience at her word, willing to accept the assumption without evidence that the mainstream media is calling everyone racist, willing to believe that no racism is actually occurring, that everyone objecting to the casting is doing so for totally valid reasons, then it's possible that they already have some form of conservative bias or anti-woke disposition. Or if they don't, then this video and subsequent content that will get recommended to them, content that without evidence narrativizes about woke Disney and the epidemic of false racism accusations, that content will help them develop this conservative anti-woke disposition. And given that this video currently has a 99% like to dislike ratio and very little dissent in the comment section with thousands of...
How accurate are those things that bypass the like ratio, though? I feel like they're not. Some people have called my like ratio before, and I'm like, that's not even it at all. It's weird. But maybe I'm just coping. I don't know.
Comments praising Patience's nuance, this process may have already begun. I bring this up because, as I showed before, Patience is no fan of echo chambers, apparently. And if that is the case, then I'd assume she would like her audience to evaluate her presentation with a critical eye, and challenge her when important context is absent from her analysis. I also bring it up mainly because, to be honest, I see a lot of myself in this video. In the past, I've made content that has relied on certain...
I guess this guy's black. He sees a lot of black representation in the video. Okay, a little we're getting into the territory of transracialism here, guys. Pretty based.
Assumptions formed through my own bias towards leftist politics. And believe it or not, it's actually pretty easy to grow on YouTube without ever having to recognize that that's what's going on. Without ever having to...
I mean, that's the best way to grow on YouTube, is to not like to be a little bit ignorant, not acknowledge your bias. I feel like it's a lot easier to grow in an echo chamber and just like kind of saying what people want you to say. I'm not saying that that's what she's doing. She might just genuinely believe some of this stuff and, like, you know, not really care about the other perspective or something. But it is very easy to grow when you don't give a fuck. Truly speaking, bro. Truly speaking, bro.
But I just recently found out that because of these trolls, one of my friends is now in the hospital, possibly dying. Because they decided to call a SWAT team on him, and the Scully was just, my friend Scully was protecting himself, and they shot him. And now he's in the hospital. And these people did this as a warning to me. These trolls, these evil people on YouTube, they want me dead. And my friend ending up in the hospital was a warning to me, saying that I'm next. And that my family is next. And what's so fucked up is they are literally catfishing me and using it against me And they're making it to where the police or the FBI will not fucking help me at all. And they're making it to where if I call them, I will probably get arrested because of their troll shit. I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. I need someone to please fucking help me. I don't understand why I'm being targeted. I don't understand why I've been targeted this whole time. All I've ever done was mind my own business. All I've ever done was work on my music, hang out with my friends, try to help my family as much as I can. I'm tired of my family being attacked. I'm tired of my life being put at risk. I've already had 3 assassination attempts on my life within the last 2 years because of these trolls. And thankfully I survived every last one of them because I did not get harmed. Thank God. And yet the police or the FBI refuse to do anything to stop these people. These people literally want me fucking dead. They want me dead. And nobody will do a damn thing to fucking help. I'm tired of living my life in fear because of these people. Because of these people, I have had to resort to death threats towards them just to protect my fucking family. And I don't like doing that. That's not who I am. Every day when I go outside now, I have to constantly look over my shoulder and I have to keep protection on me at all fucking times. I always have to be alert at all times. Every car that goes by, I have to look and make sure it's not one of them. Every time I go to the store, I'm constantly looking around me. These people have pushed other people before me to suicide. 5 people have ended their lives in the past because of these people. And yet the police and the FBI don't do anything. YouTube, social media won't do anything to stop these evil fucking people. And all I have to ask is this. How many people have to fucking die before you fucking lazy ass cops get out of your fucking asses and do something? How many people have to lose their lives before you fucking do something? I don't understand. I don't understand why the cops won't do anything. I don't understand why the FBI won't do anything. My family's lives are being put at risk because of these people. And my family doesn't deserve that. I don't deserve it. to where I didn't have to be scared of every fucking car that pulls up, to where I could go down to the lake without being scared, when I could go to the fucking corner store without worrying, without protection, back when I was safe. Now because of the YouTubers, Mass Soul Records, Music Biz Marty, and William Glory Hole, I am now at risk every fucking time I walk out that goddamn door. Every time I wake up, I am at risk. These people will stop at nothing to have me killed. And I don't understand why the police or the FBI will not do anything to stop these people. Matter of fact, YouTube, when are you gonna fucking do something about these people? What they're doing isn't right. I have done nothing to these people. Nothing. And yet, I get attacked. All I've ever done before this trolling shit started, all I have ever done was work on my music, hang out with my friends, spend time with my family. That's all I have done. I had a life 2 years ago, and now I don't. The only life I have is a life of living in fear. Constant fear, every day, because of these people. And the FBI, the police, no one will do anything. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why something is not being done about these people.
Did you? This bitch channel ran around to everybody, including Music Biz Marty, saying that I raped her when I never even met her. What was that? I know y'all heard that.
I don't understand. How many people have to lose their lives to these evil individuals before something is done? How many people have to lose their lives? I don't want to be next. I don't want my family to be next. I don't want my friends or those close to me to be next. My family, we can't even afford a lawyer to fight back. Every time we try to get on weak legs, they hang up on us. Because of these people, I've lost friends. I've lost my job. My biological father, Mark, has lost his job. To where he had to find a new one. Everywhere I go, I get shunned. Everywhere I go, I get stared. I get gawked at. I get dirty looks. I would like to save up for a lawyer, yes, but like I said, my family can't afford it. We have no money to afford a lawyer. I wish we did though. are basically trying to cut off every avenue of me making any kind of money off of my music or my artwork, so I cannot save up for a lawyer so that I can fight back. My music and my artwork is all I got left. That's all I got. I have nothing else. That's all I fucking got to be able to make a living, to make an income. That's all I fucking got. I have nothing else because of these people. Because of these people, I can't go out and get a regular job. Because of these people, I am now being labeled and sought as a pedophile when I am not. And what I don't understand is how they're getting away with it. I don't understand why no one will fucking do anything to stop these people. I don't want to see any more lives lost because of these people. I don't want to see it anymore. Enough people have already lost their lives. No one else needs to lose their life. No one. It's the families of those people that have lost their kids and their loved ones to these very same people. I want you to know that I am sorry for your loss. And that I'm sorry that you had to bury the ones that you lost. You guys didn't deserve that. And neither did they. And like you guys, I want these trolls arrested. I want these evil individuals put behind bars where they belong. I want these people to pay for what they've done to people like us. I want justice to be served and the things being made right to where people like me don't have to suffer again. To where people like me don't have to worry about going outside and being scared.
My Oriental friend will need an escort while he takes my latest acquisition. I want you to help and make sure both you and my package get to Pike Creek unharmed.
And shutting off all my electrons does not do any good. Because they just find me and attack me. Just a couple days ago. And not the days ago, but a couple weeks ago. These people are so disgusting that they thought it would be funny to send me a dead baby pig still inside the fetal sac from its mother. That's how sick these people are. This is how disturbed they really are. They literally sent a baby pig in a fetal sac that was dead to my fucking house in a package. And we called the police. We did everything. But all they said to do is just throw it away. Because of these people, I am always depressed. I am always scared. I'm always angry. I'm always worrying. And that's not who I am. I'm tired of living like that. I don't know what to do anymore. I need help. I need someone to please help stop these people so that no one else has to suffer the same exact fate as those before me. So please, someone out there, please help me stop these I don't care if you have to go through a news channel to get my story out there. I don't care. I need someone to help me get my story out there so that these people can be stopped. I need help. The police and the FBI aren't doing anything about it. I need help. And that. I don't want to be next. And I don't want my family to be next either. So please, help me stop these people before anyone else gets hurt. Please. Help stop these people before anyone else gets hurt.
How can we say no?
Alright, here we go. So this person called Maximize Your Dating. Apparently he made a call-out video on me. Maybe he makes some good points. Maybe it'll be good. It's 50. It's a little long, but that's okay. Just Pearly Things and at Papa Gut Archives on obese women. Ooh, I love getting me on some obese women, baby. You know it. Okay. I do remember one clip from the podcast where the...
Morning, folks. How are we doing? This is kind of out of my wheelhouse. It's not really my usual style. I don't do like response videos or anything like that. I guess people would say I do because I react to some of Boogie's weirder videos. But I guess this is more like a response video. I don't know. A few people asked me to make this. A couple people were talking on stream and they said they'd like me to do something along these lines. It's for a guy called Xander Hall. I've never heard of him before. I have never heard of him before. If you look at his content for 2 nanoseconds, you'll see why. Do you remember those like anti-SJW types from back in like, I don't know, what was it, 2016? Was that about the time? I don't know. And they were like super cringe and like all their content was like, oh my god, you'll never understand what this person said. And like the quartering still kind of makes that type of content where like you'll get like one TikTok video of like a black woman saying she doesn't want white people to go to the premiere of like Black Panther 2, and he'll be like, white people just got banned from Black Panther, some bullshit like that. This guy is that, but for the left. It's all like the right wing are motivated now that there was a shooting at a gay club. That's really classy content there, my dude. Talking about catfalls every 2 seconds. Complaining about this Matt Walsh guy. Every title has like right wing, oh Kanye, Trump, fascist Nazis, everything. Elon Musk. Amazing he doesn't have 200. Oh no, there's more on Elon. Oh, there's more on Elon. I just had to scroll down one more row and I got 17 Elon Musk. I always told people that my favorite was this one. Is you were lied to about the iconic trigger face. I'm not going to watch it because I would never dedicate my life to 25 minutes of this guy probably trying to explain why secretly she's actually right wing, or that actually she was never triggered and the right are just coping, or something like that. Yeah, it's just. I hope he at least has a decent opinion on Molly's. I don't know, this guy, it feels like I've stepped in a time machine, or I've decided to watch Quartering again. Neither of those are very good things. However, he made a video on Boogie, and I have been informed that this is not his only video on Boogie. He made another video on Boogie, which I will quickly grab up for you here, about the Frank Hassel situation, which of course, because he's a hashtag red tuber, he has to be ungodly cringe and do that whole like psychotic reactionary stalks Boogie. And it's like, okay. Most people just say like stalker goes to Boogie's house or something like that, but like of course you have to like add in this fucking nonsense at the front because you have to try and like, I don't know, like fit it into your like creepy worldview. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really fussed with that. People had asked me and I said, look, I've watched like the first couple minutes, I think it was, this guy's video before, And for this very specific reason, we're going to start like 1.75. Might put it up to 2, because this is one of those guys who talks like incredibly slowly, because he comes across like he's trying to make everything sound more impactful and intelligent by talking slowly and making sure everything has gravitas and the way to sink in. Unfortunately, it's also just a clip from one of his live streams, so it kind of meandered around for about 3 minutes before getting to the point, and then I clicked around a couple more spots, and every time he's talked about it, he sounded really dumb. So I thought why not? We'll watch this video from a guy who definitely doesn't seem to be like, well, Boogie's left-wing and I'm left-wing, so let's defend one of our own, from the hacker formerly known as 4chan.
Oh boy, I'm about to be talking about a topic that, well, not really a topic, but actually a person, and a topic surrounding that person. The person in question is quite controversial as far as internet figures go. Now, he's not controversial because he's necessarily done or said anything particularly offensive, at least nothing that he's stood by and would generally continuously hang from someone's reputation. Really, this figure has a bad reputation.
Fantastic. Oh, great start. Boogie has never done or said anything that's, actually that bad. There's nothing actually that bad. Racist, transphobic, homophobic, very incelly. His attraction to very, very young girls and his weird kind of controlling mentality, the accusations of abuse, the fucking very public meltdown, shooting gun in the air in the school zone that you covered yourself. The Tesla drama, copying etiquette, suicide baiting, all this, everything. But no, guys, he hasn't really done it. Guys, he's controversial for seemingly no reason, guys. I can't wait to actually hear his actual reason. It's kind of been hinted at me that he merely just says it's all because evil right-wingers and fatphobics, which is hilarious.
Patient almost by default, and I'll explain why. One of the biggest reasons this particular person is as controversial as they are is because they've been around for a very long time. He's been making videos on YouTube since, the mid-2000s, and because of that, well, I think a lot of you Zoomers in chat, not a Zoomer myself, but I remember this time, a lot of you may remember a time on YouTube when there wasn't as much moral judgment for the type of content you make, right? You could make really simple...
Oh god, is this guy going to go with the argument of like, oh well, Boogie made content back then. People were upset about the content he made back then. It's weird because, you know what? As someone who's been going back and watching through his old stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you could be really heavy on Boogie for. But I don't see it anywhere. That's why I'm always curious. Like, should I make a documentary on his earlier stuff? Because people don't seem to know about his earlier stuff. But it's like, I don't feel that you should hold people to the higher standards based on time periods and stuff like that. I don't think. Well, he said the N word back then in a jokey way. It's like, oh my god, I'd kill him now. It's like, no, I don't agree with that. So it would make this guy's point would make sense to me if this was actually his point. But people don't hate Boogie because of things that happened in 2006. People don't hate Boogie because of things that happened in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're kind of starting there. People like Sam Tulkey will shit on him for things he did in the past, but Sam Tulkey, I'm going to be honest, is still not the reason Boogie's disliked by the vast majority of the internet, who still don't even know it existed.
Silly, perhaps even embarrassing content, and you didn't have to worry about it destroying you, right? Not to the same degree that it can today. The person in question has been on the internet, has been a fairly prominent figure on the internet since the mid-2000s, and because of that, no Nazi stuff or anything like that, and because of that, there's just a long list of things that...
I would say lots of Nazi stuff. I would say, it's true. Well, you could kind of get to see how intelligent his fan base are, where it said, oh, it's PewDiePie, yeah, it's PewDiePie and the Nazi stuff. Like, really? This is how dumb your fan base are? That they think PewDiePie is actually a Nazi? Okay. Jesus.
They've done online publicly that you can pick and chew at and attack them over, right? Now, my opinion on this person in question is not necessarily important. Personally, my feelings aren't overwhelmingly strong. I do have problems with a few things that this figure has centered done in the past, but it's not Bosch. Stop saying Bosch. I do have a few problems with what this figure has centered done in the past. However, overall, I'd say I have a pretty positive opinion on him, right? And I'd say overall, it's not PewDiePie. I'd say I have an overall pretty positive opinion on him. Even with the mistakes that have happened, I respect his long, tenure on YouTube, and he has a very impressive, I've been saying he this whole time, he has a very impressive and long upload history. And his name is Boogie.
Self-care isn't skin deep. Good thing almonds have it.
Again, huh?
Almonds have 50% of the recommend.
2988.
2 minutes. I know the meme is that I ramble and talk for ages and repeat myself a lot, but we're 2 minutes and 30 seconds in this fucking video before this guy even says he's talking about Boogie, and his point is just like, I don't really know much about him, but I quite like, I kind of like him. I don't really mind any negative stuff he's done in the back. I quite like him. Yeah, going into this, with a positive attitude, which is don't know, when your defense of someone is that, you know, you don't really have an overly strong opinion, however it is a fully positive opinion, and one of the main things you respect him for is that he has been on YouTube for 16 years, which is, I don't know, I really don't consider that much of a flex, especially when he's like in his begging arm.
Oh my god,
like, DSP
bro.
isn't an impressive person because he's been on YouTube for 14 years or something, like 13, 14 years.
I'll show you guys a picture
These
of
cars need to stop being fucking retarded.
Has been overwhelmingly known and quite famous, even if you don't know his name, you've seen his face, or you've seen a character they very famously played, Francis, in a video or a meme or a screenshot or a...
Very famously played. Very, very famously played. And this guy's coming across as... Well, to be fair, from his video lineup of the things he's getting upset about, he seems terminally online. But, like, he's like, very, very famously Francis.
Or something along those lines, right? And honestly, I think Boogie's gotten, you know, a pretty hard run of things. Is he perfect? No. Has he been cringy at times? Sure. Has he said bad things, done things that are a little bit iffy? Sure. But it's always felt a little disproportionate, at least. I don't follow YouTube drama and YouTube hate as much as most people do.
Oh my... Okay, well, firstly, you do. Like half your video content is, like, complaining about, like, Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro and all that kind of crap. So you follow that kind of internet area of drama. Like, YouTube drama isn't, like, a weird separate thing that doesn't have any form of crossover. So that's a lie already. And this is what I've heard from pretty much everyone who talked about this. This is a guy who's defending Boogie, and he basically knows fucking nothing about Boogie. And I had a quick look at his comment section. We'll cover that towards the end. It's exactly the same there. His fan base are just all like, oh my god, people are being mean to Boogie. I've never watched Boogie stuff, but he seems like a nice person. I was like, you don't have a fucking opinion on it. You don't know anything.
Always felt so disproportionate. There's so many people on the internet, so much more admittedly famous than him, who are so objectively worse, and yet so much hate seems to be centralized on this one guy.
Are you gonna cry? Are you gonna cry because, like, the people are making fun of Boogie, as opposed to, like, everyone in the entire world you've called a fascist to? I'm assuming it's probably gonna be everyone in the entire world at this point.
Hey. So, even if some of the hate is justified, it seems so disproportionate, right? And, you know, for a while, I think you could attribute to that, well, whatever, you know, the internet just happens to hate some people more than others. Some people suggest it's phobia or even political motivations, but I don't really want to talk about that, because those are obvious reasons why, you know, people hate other people on the internet. I really want to talk about...
Okay, so he said here 4 minutes that he doesn't really want to talk about fat phobia or political things. He doesn't want to talk about either of those two. So, let's see how long that lasts, because that's what I got spoiled for me, is that it pretty much is a tired offense of Boogie is fat phobia and that.
How evil the internet can be in this segment. So Boogie recently put out a video in which he talked about the fact that he had lost a shit ton of money to crypto, and that he needed to make a lot of content in order to financially recover from how much money he lost to crypto.
I thought we
now, a lot of people, it's easy to say, oh, well, fuck him, he lost money to crypto. Fuck people who got involved in crypto. They were stupid. They got what they deserve. But I don't necessarily agree that because somebody fell for a scam, crypto, at least the cryptocurrencies he invested in ended up being a scam. I don't think that somebody falling for a scam, you know, means they deserve to, like, lose.
What? Okay, I'm going to let him finish this point, but this is already sounding so dumb. I don't think if you lose money because you invest in something stupid and you lose money, I don't think that you should be marked for that. It's like, you should be. You're fucking stupid.
Everything, right? Or lose, you know, a lot of what they have. I think that's unfair. Regardless, though, that happened a while ago. People
I don't think your bad financial decisions. Well, okay, so we're already. I don't know. Is this political? Is this already political? Because, like, based on his ranting, I don't know. I just get the feeling he doesn't like capitalism. Like, so I get this feeling that he that's why he doesn't agree. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I kind of lean towards that.
Shit. And then some unfortunate coincidence happened. Just yesterday, Boogie put out a video.
An unfortunate coincidence. An unfortunate coincidence. That's... Even this guy sounds fucking doubtful. Even this guy, if you have to describe something as, well, that's an unfortunate coincidence, even that sounds fucking doubtful.
Form of cancer. Let's go ahead. We're only going to watch the beginning of the video, that's the most relevant part of it, and then we're going to get to the overall meat of this topic that I want to talk about here. Let's hear what Boogie has to say.
I often say, though, every day that I wake up is a good day.
I can't wait. I'm so happy.
I don't wake up. I'm
so happy to get to see Boogie again.
About this, but I hope it brings you guys a little bit of clarity.
It's like the 17th. Oh, look at him vape. Look at him vape.
Well, you remember about 3 weeks back I said that I likely could potentially have a form of cancer?
Oh my god, this is just
I got
so...
rare blood cancer.
I've seen this Boogie video so many fucking times at this point.
Leukemia vera, which basically makes your body produce too many red blood cells. And when we started taking that testosterone supplement 7 or 8 years ago, however long it's been, who knew this was a possibility? You never think you're going to be the guy who gets that side effect already. You never think it's going to be you. But sometimes it is. It has to be somebody. But the good news is, I mean, this is a disease that takes a really long time to get you. Statistically speaking, I'll die of a blood clot or a heart attack or a stroke through one of those blood clots. And most people, after getting diagnosed, live another 20 years. So,
is he playing at this half speed? Because I'm playing this at 2 times speed. Is he seriously just sitting there in absolute silence, just staring at a screen? Like, for like, a minute solid now, just staring at the screen? You could just play it at 2 times speed.
Oh, if you're gonna get a cancer, this is the one to get. You know me and my darkest humor, when my doctor told me all of this, I said, if I die of cancer, doc, instead of my morbid obesity, which I've been working so hard on for the last...
Stare!
I will say, I don't like those jokes. So Boogie 2988...
He seriously sat there for a minute, 30 seconds in fucking silence, staring at that. Staring at it. That's fucking Kino content, my dude. I also just saying, I don't like negative comments. I don't like negative jokes. Oh, fuck me. Well, if you don't like that, then why do you like Boogie? That's Boogie's entire bit. That is the softest ball joke, and that's about himself. It doesn't make any sense.
One of the types of content he's made the last couple of years that I've actually liked quite a bit is his weight loss updates. I've actually quite enjoyed watching as he's lost quite a bit. Isn't he a chud? No, he's not. I've actually enjoyed watching as he becomes healthier with his weight. I mean, it's an inspiring and nice thing to see, especially if the weight loss is making the person who's losing weight healthier. Something like that.
Weight loss content in the last couple of years. Every once in a while, he goes like, I'm at the gym again and I'm losing some weight, and then he puts on 20 pounds. Like, are you talking about this weight loss surgery from like over 5 years ago now? Is that the last time you were invested in Boogie?
People tend to be iffy on with Boogie, and I agree, is that he tends to be a little, with his humor, I know why he does it, he's got an explanation for it that seems reasonable, but nonetheless people are still off-put by it, is how wishy-washy he can be about the concern for his health, right? Like in some of the darker humor he'll do, I've been working on killing myself with obesity for years. People don't like those jokes. When people hear jokes like that, they tend to be off-put by it. Am I the only one saying, does anyone else agree? Does anyone else agree, like even if he's actively making the effort to help make himself healthier, it really just kind of, it feels doomer and gives a bad vibe. It's kind of funny, but it's a little dark. Yeah, like I get that. I think a lot of people are off-put by those jokes or those comments, and it's just, I think it feels pessimistic and doomery, and I think that vibe of negativity just kind of hangs over the viewer, you know what I mean?
Kia, movement that inspires.
Good morning, aviator. This is your captain speaking. Having any fun yet?
This December,
Here we go.
the biggest movie of the year arrives on Paramount Plus.
Let's get to work. Yes! It's been an honor flying with you.
Top Gun Maverick, streaming December 22nd on Paramount Plus.
The good news is, it might just give me a stroke.
Oh my god, we're back to fucking silently staring at the screen again. I have to say, I don't care about his jokes. I don't. However, the thing is, I look at his jokes a lot less as jokes and a lot more as manipulation. It is a way of slipping it in, whilst also pretending it's a joke. Boogie always brings out these jokes when he wants people to pat his ass. You know, that's the point. You last watched Boogie 5 years ago when he got weight loss surgery, so I don't think you it just, I don't know, it seems like such a weird thing to come in defense of someone. It's like, very quick aside, I know this is going to be my meme going forward, so quick asides. The whole Destiny, Love, Hassan, Mr. Girl drama that happened recently, I found it really interesting and I was tempted to make a video on it. However, the thing is, it's like, well, I don't really know actually enough about the history of all these people, and I really don't have the time, because November was very busy for me. So I was like, well, I don't really have the time to go through and break down, you know, all these different people's backgrounds and interact, especially like Hassan. Because I know very little about Hassan, because I don't like his content, so I don't watch Hassan. So I don't make videos about Hassan, because I don't really know fucking anything about him. You know, if you get me. This guy doesn't watch Boogie, but is making a defense video of Boogie. It's like if I made a video on Hassan during the Lav drama and tried to, like, discuss the drama and, like, why she falsely accused him and stuff like that, knowing nothing about his history. It would just come across as weird, me, like, defending Hassan when I don't know anything about him. Or even, like, why these allegations happened, or, like, the connection between him and Lav, or his opinion on, like, the age gap thing, which Lav was pretending her messages about and not her false statements. So that's kind of thing. It would just come across as dumb, me coming across and trying to do a defense thing for Hassan when I don't know anything about Hassan. Reading this guy's chat as time goes on, it's just so cringe. It's a coping mechanism. It can be. It can also be blatant manipulation. It's funny when I do it, but I hate myself. So what the fuck do I know? Jesus Christ. This is my problem with like this kind of fan base and Boogie's kind of fan base is that they are all these like trauma dumping fucking weird. Like just the internet's meant to be fun. Go and have fun. It's meant to be an escape. It's meant to cheer you up. Sitting up here just fucking crying and whining is just not fun. We're 10 minutes into this guy's video. And what the fuck has he said? This is the first time I'm 10 minutes into someone's video and 18 minutes into my own. Because he has said and done so little. This is actually pointless. So let's get into the meat. Come on.
Yeah, overall, it's not necessarily the... You know, it's not like Walter White in the doctor's office getting...
Oh my god.
He's going to die in less than a year. Supposedly, like the sound of...
Tell me like you're a terminally online Reddit user. Like tell me you're a terminally online Reddit user that you're still like comparing things to fucking Breaking Bad.
You know, like the ringing starts going and then like everything...
And no one's allowed to make that joke that I use the say my name meme. That's a meme.
Not perfect. Like,
oh my god, just hurry up.
Like
just get to anything.
I'm glad that wasn't the nightmare scenario. Despite that, though, it would be pretty... I think we can all agree it would be a pretty low blow for somebody to attack him on the grounds of his cancer, right? For those of you guys that don't remember, a very beloved figure by the name of... how am I blanking on his name right now? Total Biscuit. Very famous figure by the name of Total Biscuit. Died of cancer, 7-8 years ago now.
What?
It's like back in 2015, 2016, so like 7 years now. A while ago. It's been a hot minute, though. But a beloved internet figure, someone who's good. If you type LOL W in the chat right now, that's him. Type LOL W in chat, that is him. He's literally gone down in history as the iconic emote LOL W. That's him.
I'm really curious to see how this guy covers the Total Biscuit suicide thing. Because obviously, as any of my viewers know, Boogie has a hand, well not a hand because he didn't cough cancer into him or something like that, but Boogie was involved in the whole Total Biscuit thing. And also, the whole Total Biscuit thing, I saw people attacking Total Biscuit for having cancer and celebrating his death. I saw people attacking Total Biscuit, and we'll get to that.
That's his face. How John Total Biscuit Bane became the LOL W emote. The original image was taken at MLG Anaheim 2013 by photographer. Okay, so basically, here's the full image. Slightly cut off appears for some reason, but that's the more full image. That's the LOL S version, just the LOL version. It's not LOL. Anyway, as you can tell, like, yeah, he died of cancer, and when he had cancer...
How come all these fucking, like, weirdo political commentators sit like this in their chair nowadays? I come. I literally talked about Lab a minute ago, and he talks like this. Like, Shirley talks like this. All these kind of weirdos fucking talk like this.
Some of the biggest assholes online attacked him for it, and their reputations still bear that mark, because of how low of a blow was considered to attack him.
Okay. Oh, there we go, straight in! He made a video in support of Gamergate. You spoiled it! You spoiled it, you weirdo! It was the left that attacked Total Biscuit and mocked him profusely and celebrated his death. I remember that because I like Total Biscuit. I remember going on Twitter when I saw that he was dead, and I went and I was just like looking through the fucking RIP Total Biscuit thing or whatever, and there was just lots of like turbo lefties celebrating him dying because he's an evil gamer-gator. So yeah, I can't wait to see how you tie this into the Redditor and the 4chan.
Okay. Or like on the grounds of his cancer, right? One of the people who said this was Keemstar. Right, let me see if I can find it. Keemstar, Total Biscuit.
Oh my, wait, so you're only going to focus only on Keemstar? Okay, but surely you're going to talk about all the other ones. You're going to talk about all the left-leaning ones, yeah?
Look, you fucking piece of shit. I've been fucking watching you for years. I've been a fan of you for years. On the blue, you tweet at me, you're not news, and then you fucking block me? Why? Well, I've never even fucking said anything about you at all. Like, now I want to. Now I want to be like, I can't wait to report your death. Like, seriously, what's wrong with you, asshole?
Okay, so someone made a joke?
Yikes.
Okay, so Keemstar made a joke. Okay. So Keemstar made a joke about Total Biscuit's cancer after Total Biscuit started shit with him. Okay. Yikes.
Yikes! Well, let's play my theme song. Good job, you two. You're a little bit
Yikes.
I guess, but good autoplay choice.
Yikes, guys.
Yeah, so, you know, that's one that he's not quite lived down, even though he's a cockroach. That type of behavior, that type of rhetoric was seen as pretty disgusting, and a low blow wasn't the kind of thing that
who else are you gonna come on, get him up, lefties, all the lefties, no, they're your side, so you're not going to, okay. This is why I don't do politics. Political people are fucking embarrassingly fucking cringe. I wonder how long he hunted for, like, the one right-wing guy who talked about it that he could find and be like, oh my god, I need a right-wing person to somehow make Total Biscuit's cancer think about the right wing.
Would defend or engage in a broader sense.
Oh my god.
For some reason, it seems that Boogie has passed the level of, I guess people hate him enough that this is fine now. Like, engaging in like, these low blows is fine. So Boogie found a few tweets recently that goes over this. Let me go down the line.
Oh, we gotta sit here and
this is where he starts talking about it. So the murder mill has decided that I'm faking my cancer diagnosis. Let me address this one and only one time. I don't think he only addressed it once, but let's watch this clip. Just so you guys can get a little bit of a glimpse into the internet.
Hey, sorry about my voice. I'm getting a little but
so we get a glimpse into the entrance. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I wanted to say thank you to the people who reached out in the last 24 hours. Content creators, YouTubers.
I love his fucking Batman voice. I still love it. The whole flu thing has gone great. And if people haven't noticed that, Boogie's now claimed that he got COVID over 2 weeks ago. Now, over 2 weeks ago, I'm recording this on Saturday morning. He claimed that he got this on Friday the 11th. That's when he believes he got it. Is when he was hanging out with people for Friday Night Magic. Boogie doesn't go to Friday Night Magic. Sorry, Xanderthal, you're so incredibly boring and uninteresting that we're halfway through your video and you fucking said nothing. You're so ungodly boring, mate. I'm gonna have to talk about that before actually more interesting things here. I was actually like hand gesturing at the fucking screen as well, sort of like dismissively. Boogie's now claiming that he has COVID. And he got it 2 weeks ago, 11th of November, like I said, at the Friday Night Magic. Okay, firstly, Boogie says he doesn't go to Friday Night Magic anymore because he used that whilst he's talking about, I'm so socially anxious, guys. He says he doesn't go to Friday Night Magic anymore, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, 2 weeks ago, Friday Night Magic was a special event because it was the pre-release of The Brothers War. This is why it's good that I got back into Magic because I kind of started to learn this kind of shit. The Brothers War is the new set. The set that Boogie said that he hadn't bought and wasn't going to buy because, of his financial situation and all that malarkey. But I am sure I saw briefly when he was moving his camera around
fucking
one time.
Christ,
I'm sure I saw a
dude.
couple boxes in McCullers sitting on his desk.
I might not do this one right now.
Boogie, I think, has accidentally revealed, whilst he was trying to, make up the story about how he got COVID, and I don't think he'd test positive for COVID 2 full weeks later, especially if it didn't affect you in any way. If it didn't really hit you that bad in any way, I don't think you'd still be tested positive for it actual weeks later. But I think he accidentally revealed that he went to the pre-release of the Brothers War set and bought Magic the Gathering cards that he said he wasn't going to because it was a bad financial situation. So just saying, guys.
I hate those fucking gay-ass vans, dude. Fuck them. I hate you so much.
People like me have had nice things to say, and I'm really grateful. Thank you. But I have a favor to ask you those people, though, and I'm sorry I have to ask you anything.
I'm glad. Fucking hell, this guy is so cringe. This guy is so oh my god. He's embarrassing. Oh. I know people like this in real life who are just really I'm so kind, guys. I'm so nice. I'm glad, guys. And they're just fucking cringe in real life. No wonder he likes Boogie. No wonder he likes Boogie.
I can only destroy them.
I see the rumor mills bring back up again. Same rumor mills. By the way, this video isn't a favorite movie or anything like that. I saw this happening and I felt an internal desire to talk about this. And
that's not a favorite to Boogie, dude. You're not that important. Jesus Christ, what a fucking loser.
I'm gonna give my overall thesis on why I'm covering
My thesis! My thesis! Oh my god, I'm lightheaded. I cough so hard. Oh! God, you're such a fucking... I wish I didn't know this guy still existed. I wish I didn't know this guy existed. This guy is such a... Oh, God. Jesus, guys.
I wish I could fucking switch my goddamn motherfucking weapon. Fuck that bullshit. Fuck those fucking bands, dude. So why does it lock me into the Uzi then? That is just fucking annoying, dude.
Cancer's not something to joke about. Cancer's not something, pretending that I'm lying about cancer for clout views is a fucked up thing to get help. Secondly, if you see a YouTuber saying I'm faking this shit, link it to me. I'm normally free speech advocacy, the whole 9 yards, but it's not about it, put my fucking foot down if I have to. So I will here. Basically. And thirdly, if you see this shit in the comment section, you see videos about it, shout these motherfuckers.
What do you say?
Put my fucking foot down if I have to. So I will.
God, I'm sorry, I was distracted by him doing his fucking repositioning.
No.
Basically. And thirdly, if you see the whole 9 yards, but it's not about it, put my fucking foot down if I have to. So I will here. Basically.
That's based? You're a fucking idiot, mate. You're so fucking dumb. It's... Base guy, he took his foot down because he let them get away with it before. You clearly know nothing about Boogie if you think this is him finally putting his foot down, and it's not because he has repeatedly done it, and that's why his reputation is television, because he's repeatedly freaked out any time. That's where half those comments that you were, I think they're been on Avery guys. think are a bit unsavory, guys. I think are a bit unsavory, guys. That's where half those comments come from, is him freaking out because of trolls. I always hate people making fun of deaths. I don't even celebrate passing of bad people. What about when Trump dies? This is your community, man.
And thirdly, if you see the shit in comment sections, you see videos about it, shout these motherfuckers down, let them know. Let them know reality.
Yeah.
I get that it's fun to pretend.
Yeah, guys. Group around people. Yeah, guys. Group around people. This guy would be the type who'd cry if like someone said that about his community. Like if someone said that about his community, it's like, yeah, go target his community. Go, okay, they hate raid, guys.
What? I get that it's fun to dump on me and try to ruin my life. I get it. Well, fuck you if you're doing that. I don't want to live this time. Giga Chad let you every other time. I don't give a fuck what you had to say.
Giga Chad! He called him a Giga. I guess compared to you, he is. I guess. Oh, this guy is like the living soy boy meme. He really is like the living soy boy meme. Oh, this is why I don't watch political commenters that much anymore. Because they're like this. They're like creepy little Weasley guys sitting in a little box, just like complaining about the right wing and fascists and stuff like that, or fucking Black Panther, stuff like that. I don't know, they're all just such creepy little losers, and you're just like, oh god, just do something with your life. Do something with your life. You know, it's just Boogie is a Giga Chad because he's not letting the haters get him down. I love that it is like one complaint as well. I only just realized this when I was saying that is the only person he would talk about, you know, mocking Total Biscuit.
I would be fine if those vans weren't so fucking autistic.
And Boogie was on his show.
Jesus Christ!
I love that. I love the poetic irony of that. When like Keemstar is the one that Boogie used to really push out the knowledge about his cancer and to back him up.
A thing that we're gonna joke about, right? Cancer's not a thing that we're gonna pretend I'm lying about. That's not a thing we're gonna do.
So, I want to talk about hate on the internet.
Oh Christ!
So, I think it's a pretty normalized idea that like the internet is hate, and that's just something.
Your entire content online is bitching and moaning about people and complaining about people and insulting people. Like, what? This is his entire content. His entire content is that. His entire content is complaining about people and insulting people and bitching about people and arguing about people and fucking calling people out and shouting about people and everything. This is his look at it. It keeps going. Oh. Okay. Cool. That's cool. Okay. There. It's constant. You can scroll for days. It is just constant hate and bitching and moaning and complaining. Oh my god, it doesn't stop. It literally doesn't stop. Look at it. It's constant. And this guy is the guy who's going to come in and moral police us about hate and being mean on the internet. Fantastic.
It's kind of accept and move on with. People don't really think about why. Why is the internet so hateful? Why are people so desperate to behave in ways that I don't even think they would in real life?
Why are you like that? Can we get that next segment? Like, Jesus Christ.
Just to be the most horrific they could be. Like, literally, a guy has cancer. And I mean, even for, obviously in this case, it's not as bleak, but even in the case of, say, Total Biscuit, there were people who would engage in this type of rhetoric, you know, the trolling, right? Because I guarantee the vast majority of the people that are claiming is faking his cancer, if they were really pinned down on it, they claim they were trolling. Because that's always the go-to.
I wouldn't claim them trolling. Most people wouldn't claim they're trolling. What world does this guy live in that it's like the scariest thing possible that someone says, I don't believe that you have cancer, is like super scary and like, they wouldn't even admit that in real life that they don't believe in him. Like, I don't know. What world do you live in where that's like the weirdest, creepiest thing ever? You know, that's the scariest thing. In a world where you have people like actively getting killed and murdered, he thinks someone being like, oh, I fucking hate that guy. I hope he dies. You know, it's like, oh my god, you would hope internet man dies. And this is coming from me, the guy who, like, you know, made a point that I think people who hope in death are weirdos. But I don't agree with this. I don't agree with him having to show medical records and all. I'm like the softballed guy, and even I think his point here is so pathetic.
Right? Like, oh, it's just trolling. It's internet trolling. It's just trolling, guys. It's trolling, right? obviously this is not a good excuse. I think most people in my community can agree it's just trolling as justification for bad behavior is not very good justification. You know, like if some Nazis out there saying, oh, I think the Jews have gone too far, we gotta do something about it. Like,
someone made it 17 minutes and 38 seconds in before he talked with Nazis. That's probably a record for this guy's videos. Oh my god, every time I look at the chat, they're talking about Trump.
Like, you guys would not accept the response, oh, I was just trolling, you know? And you should, you really should. With that said, Boogie continued with a few more tweets, and I want to continue them before I get to my thesis. Hey man, to make it very clear, make fun of cancer all you want. It's super fun.
My thesis, this guy is a loser. Oh my god, talk about taking, like, I'm a guy who makes like an hour and 40 minute sum up videos of Boogie who's like doing his dumb shit during the fucking month. And even I'm looking down on you right now and thinking you're a loser because you're trying to take this so seriously and act so intellectual and enlightened. Like I said, guys, this is like 18 minutes in his video and we're like 30 minutes into my video. This is like my shortest reaction, and I'm trying to find stuff to talk about here because this guy is, apart from being just so fucking boring, like if we're being honest, he is so fucking boring. He is saying nothing of interest, of value. It's just, it's so like, people are mean sometimes, guys. Also, Total Biscuit, he died of cancer, and that's not really nice. I don't really like people dying of cancer. And that's really not nice. And also, Keemstar made fun of him, and I think only Keemstar, only Keemstar, possibly the right wing, made fun of him. I'm projecting that, but and just taking the piss out of that, because it's just like you're a political commentator. You know, like when I made my Boogie cancer video, I was able to say like both sides are fucking weirdos in this situation. That I don't believe Boogie, and I think he's lying, and I do think this is a manipulation tactic. And I can also say that the other side are also fucking weirdos for like celebrating and being like mental about it. See, I can do that. That's why I that's one bit about politics that I like, is that I'm a super centralist cuck, and I can laugh at both sides. But the problem is, like, so many people aren't, and they can't admit any fault in their side. So you brought up Total Biscuit, like I said, the guy who mainly got shit on by the left, and you go out and look for like the only like right-wing examples you can find to do it. You know, and I don't even know how right-wing Keemstar is. He probably thinks that Keemstar is like literally MAGA, Trump, Nazi, fascists. But I actually listen to Keemstar. Keemstar repeatedly says he's not really overly right-wing or anything like that.
Dark humor helps us deal with fucking things, but we're not going to pretend I'm faking it. That shit won't stand. I wrote about this in my book, and maybe I'll post it as a YouTube video one day, but Chamber Hospice Centers, again, it was unrelated. Oh yeah, his mom worked in hospice, and he dates cancer. I blocked like 200 accounts today on Twitter. All of them have a few things in common. They are down the QAnon rabbit hole. They pick on other YouTubers like DSP and Wings. They're assholes, nothing about it.
Okay, remember the way I keep making the jokes about the QAnon, about Boogie like trying to manipulate his audience by lying about the QAnon thing? This is who he's making that for. People like this who are idiots who just think everyone's a Nazi. This is, I can't wait to see him react to this. Okay guys, we're 18 minutes in, 18 minutes 28 seconds in, we might finally get some actual content from this loser.
Yeah, so as you can see, like, Boogie's definitely had to go on a blocking spree on Twitter, which is understandable. I think blocking for your mental health is completely valid. At this time, like...
Oh god, that's so lame. That's so lame. Blocking people for your mental health, that is very, very valid. You know what I like the Relative Media guy said, the very cool nerd crew? Can we like do the same for like, you know, like super lefty like Hogwartsy types? You're like super valid, super valid. Signal boost.
Oh my god, I hate charging bullshit.
What is it? What?
Jesus.
Who said that? People laughed at him. People laughed at him for blocking them. I got many people sending me these screenshots of them blocking them and stuff.
There we go. Are you happy?
Anyways, it's kind of accepted, yeah, people are being an asshole on Twitter, don't engage cares. That's what you're supposed to do. However, I really want to talk
or just don't just laugh at them, like, who gives a shit, I don't know, maybe don't think, like, Twitter's, like, real life.
Talk about the nature of hate on here, why people behave this way. Specifically, why it's okay for sexual, because I have not seen, like, an outspoken, statement by really a lot of big public figures that maybe are in the community of people that be pushing this kind of shit, denouncing it, right? Not on the same level as you'd see ever say another figure. One who's maybe more liked on the internet.
What are you talking
So,
about?
I'm around.
What community is he talking about? He hasn't seen big public figures. What community is he talking about? Like, no one talks about Boogie. Like, I am one of the biggest channels that talks about Boogie now, and I announced it, so fuck you, I guess, you know, because I am one of the bigger channels that consistently talks about Boogie now. There's very little people who talk about Boogie. Keemstar came out in defense of him, but you won't acknowledge that because you probably think he's, like, said Nazi Hitler. Zipster came out.
Why are these cars so fucking far apart?
Maybe might have done it. I haven't seen. Hubgut did a new video on Boogie. I haven't watched yet before that. But like, who else are you talking about? Like, what other big public figures? Most people don't talk about them. Who did you want to come out and make a public statement on this? PewDiePie set up a pulpit and come up and being like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm here to discuss with you today. People are mean online about Boogie 2988. I don't know what he thinks, because you know he quotes himself as a hashtag breadtuber. So like,
there we go.
So, like, everyone's
now we're getting somewhere.
I'm not a community. I'm not a community. I don't have a community. I don't deal in any community. I'll talk to people, but I don't consider myself part of any community. I don't know if Peeps are consider himself part of the drama community, I guess. But like, what community do you think Boogie's in? Because he's not part of the gaming community anymore. He's not part of the Monsters the Gathering community. Is he part of the drama community? Because he denies that outright, especially when Sonny B2 made a video on him.
Alright, there it is.
Shit, drama channels. So, what community is Boogie meant to be part of, and what figurehead representatives are you hoping come out in defense of him? Also, why should other people have to come out and defend Boogie? Like, why? I don't think they should come and defend me if this guy makes a dumb fucking video in response to me or something like that.
Cancel culture. That's right. Boogie is a victim of cancel culture. Those that have canceled him would never admit that they canceled him or they're part of cancel culture because they tend to be very right-wing.
What the fuck?
What are you talking about, you psycho?
Thank God.
He's a victim of cancel culture. Dude has like 4 million subs still. Boogie's audience are entirely left-wing. What are you talking about? Oh my god, fantastic, dude. I can't wait.
The game from cancel culture. And because of that, Boogie has basically been labeled by the internet as a bad person. And it's funny because nothing that Boogie's done has really been that bad. But I feel like, look, the guy, not as close as you can follow another figure online without being excessive since like 2009. You know, he's been.
Have you? Because like you said he's just a nice guy, and I don't understand. He hasn't even done anything that bad. Tesla begging people, lying about begging people, shooting guns, abusing women, all that stuff. And it's like, what has he done? So are you saying? Because you said you've followed him very closely, and you don't think any of that stuff's bad. So you think all that stuff's cool? You think all that stuff's good? You think abusing women's cool? Okay, it's your words. Like,
bro, I can't be going this way constantly. I'm gonna have to find the right way eventually, so, okay, I'm just gonna keep going this way, man. Because the map keeps on fucking me up, I think.
I wanted to think about that for a while now, but DK, if you're on that podcast, be nice.
People are fine. People just troll them. They're a trolling podcast. I don't see people actively hating Woody or Kyle or Taylor or anything like that. People like troll them a lot. Like, I understand you don't understand what like light trolling it is and like little jabs in the rib and stuff like that between buddies. Like, I get you don't understand what that is like, but I'm not saying people like I hate them, I want them to die. You know, like people don't seem to get them.
And when you look at any conversation where we talk about ages,
the whole firing a gun in the air thing was reckless but understandable. Your fucking fans are psycho.
I think it's one of the better GTA games.
At least this person's calling out that he doesn't think that they're cute.
What the fuck?
They don't even have a reason to hate him.
Thanks for that, right? And I guess that's to be expected because that's the broader behavior of a lot of the internet, and BK kind of has a
more... It's just crying about cancel culture. The right wing of cancel culture might have played in the fort.
Hyper-toxic compared to the rest of the internet. But it's interesting how once you've been designated a canceled individual, you know, even the broader part of the internet, nothing bad.
I love that the left wing just desperately wants there to be like people who've been cancelled by the right. You know, so much so that they're included. How many people cancelled by the right? But I love that he is so desperate for examples. He is using Boogie. Like, well, I can't wait for him to actually give any evidence of this or any actual information for this. But people calling you a fucking dumb shit on Twitter.
I appreciate the compliment.
Okay, that's the first thing.
Off limits, right? Like the lowest of low lows, the lowest of low taxes are completely on the table. And the thing that's so funny to me is that one of the biggest things used to cancel Boogie was a clip where he was referring to his haters as being bad people. And that was the years like someone
That's not what he said. That's
we shall try that one later.
Oh my god, are we gonna leave that here? Are we actually gonna leave that here? Is he being so disingenuous that this is where we're gonna leave it? He called his haters
I didn't.
Bad. Yeah, he called them bad. But now that they are bad because they're laughing about him about cancer.
Or accusing him of faking his cancer and being outright objectively bad people. And yet I feel that calling his haters bad people went viral and getting a lot of shit.
Calling bad people. He says they're vindicated! Oh my god! This guy's jumping at a boogie side! The boogie hitters are worse than Nazis and rapists! And to be fair, for him that might be true, because he seems to call everyone a Nazi. Like, so he, like, most people have a high bar of how bad a Nazi is. He just thinks everyone's a Nazi. So for him, the Nazi bit might actually be right. Oh, that's beautiful. Bro, are we serious here? Is this guy actually, are we actually serious? This guy is actually, he's not mentioning the Nazis and rapists thing. He's doing a boogie right now. He's doing a boogie where he's like, something bad happened, you know, and I acknowledge that. I acknowledge I've said a silly thing before about my haters. He's just doing a boogie. I really want to see if he says it.
Yeah, he's vindicated for his use of justification for the behavior.
He has not been vindicated for it.
This is not.
It's all cyclical. Guys, so cyclical. It's not. It's not. People aren't bringing that up still and using that as against them. It's like, oh, see, and that's why we're trolling you. People are laughing at him for a fucking lunatic. What? I can't wait. Please say it. Please say it.
Designated. You're bad. Everything bad happens to you is justified.
Fuck. Get the fuck out. This is mine.
I'm just scrolling for no particular reason. I'm scrolling for no particular reason. This guy who's crying because they said that people are like insulting Boogie and laughing at Boogie. It's like, oh, people are maligned for very little reason. I don't know why I'm scrolling. Oh god, this guy's cringe. This guy is seriously the left-wing bordering.
Like, nothing's up with his head. They just explained to me that at the end of the day, the worst things that Boogie has done is A, be a public figure that's overweight, and B, be a public figure that's overweight and left-wing. Listen to me.
You're a psychopath. You're such a disingenuous little prick. Oh my god, you're actually so fucking disingenuous. The biggest issues Boogie's had that he was fat and left-wing. What are you talking about? The left-wing usually calls Boogie too right-wing. What are you talking about? Boogie got banned by Wizards of the Coast from going to conventions because they considered him too problematic and not left-wing enough and refused to do business with him again in the future.
I'm glad I could help you out there. I didn't even know I was.
He's had screaming matches with like trans activists for not being a good enough ally and stuff like that. What are you talking about?
Being overweight alone isn't enough to get your shit on the internet. Obviously, the quartering, for example, he's fine. But being overweight and
I appreciate it.
17 times
Thank ya.
Dude, you're fucking. Oh my god. What world does he live in?
I thought you were pretty cool too.
What world does this guy live in? He's like living in a fantasy world here. People don't even criticize the quartering. There's entire subreddits dedicated to how fucking stupid the quartering is. Is this dropping frame rate around? Like, why did that drop? That is bizarre. Let's see his comments again. What is he talking about? This is crazy. This is genuinely insane. This is genuinely insane. This video is well received. Oh, I've got it hidden.
I'm getting a rocket launcher right now.
This it is like 98%. Like,
what do you mean by? What do you mean by that? I was right.
Received this video. This video of 22 minutes of basically nothing, and then people just hate fat people, but not right-wing fat people. That's fine. People are okay with right-wing fat people, but they hate left-wing fat people. Like half the memes about Alex Jones and his fucking shitty supplements, like, are they just that he's like fat and weird and he shouldn't be promoting like things like be a real man when he looks like a big fat thumb? Like, what world does this guy live in that he thinks doesn't happen to the other side? People insulted Trump constantly for being fat from his side. What are you talking about?
There we go.
Left-wing online. That will absolutely fall into a stereotype that way. That makes you is not a person anymore.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Stereotype that,
I'm going to make a point. Jesse Cox is fat and left-leaning.
I killed 20 people earlier.
Like Jesse Cox. Jesse Cox is left-leaning and fat. I don't see people going after Bosch for being left-leaning and fat. You know, that's out of everything I've ever seen people complain about Bosch for. I've never seen people go like, "Oh, he's a big fatty." You know, Ethan Ralph, the guns. I'm sorry, it's November. I'm not meant to bring him up, but he works so well for this example. He's right-wing and fat. People make fun of being Alaska for being fat, and he's barely even fat, and he's right-wing. Dude, what world do you live in? You know why people go for, like, confirmation bias? This guy is, like, pure existing confirmation bias, where he's, like, looking out for it, he's like, oh, everyone, the right wing get away with everything. The right wing get away with everything, from cancel culture to being fat. It's so triggering. And then he goes out and goes like, well, Boogie's a perfect example of someone who's, like, fat and not, quote-unquote, cancel. So he's like, oh, there you go, I'm right. I was always right. This is so embarrassing.
Doesn't have a soul or feelings, and we don't need to feel any worse.
By everything.
What a clear! People just don't like him. They're not like, he doesn't have a soul. He doesn't have a soul. People are just like, oh, well, he's a terrible
You'll be a dictator soon. Where?
That's what people are doing. They don't even say I disagree with. But at least I can understand their
Let's check out this payphone.
Acknowledge me. Okay, so that's why they're saying it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Your opinion is people like, people don't have a soul because he's left-wing and fat.
Empathy is a rare commodity online. It really, really is.
It's not. It's really not.
Internet users tend to skew pretty young.
World dictator? I'll vote for you. I'm voting for Trump.
Principally do not believe that being good or goodness.
Okay, see, this is the kind of thing as well where I don't like politics that I'm so years. I don't like the left because the left think that they are like morally superior to everyone. Like this guy where he's like, however, except for me and my community, you know, we're so empathetic and so nice. You know, just like that lab Luna and Mr. Girl and all did, where they are just like, we are so empathetic, guys. Other people just aren't as empathetic as us. We are so empathetic. Same Goody Beauty does, Amberlynn Reed does, Boogie does, all those kind of people. Like Goody Beauty, I would guess, would be arguably not very left-wing, but, you know, whatever. But I don't like the right as well, because they're very, like, morally superior in the way of, like, we are more, like, righteous and strong and, you know, dependable than the left are. The left are weak, you know, so, like, that's why I don't like, everyone just wants to, like, portray themselves as a superhero, and I know it's going to piss off people, I don't care. People just want to portray themselves as a superhero in their story, and for this guy, he's, like, just so pathetic.
This is safe. Is worth doing. Like, being a good person. And doing things for the sake of making other people happy does not compute for them, which is a large part of why edgy humor, of which, you know, cruelty is essentially the drive, the fuel for it, tends to be popular among very
There we go.
And outside of that, people who wish they were still young. Like, the kinds of people online right now that are saying, oh, he's faking his cancer, I guarantee you're the types of people that wish we were back in the previous year age of YouTube. And they miss that.
I wasn't part of YouTube back then, so you're wrong. There you go. No, there you go. People wish that they were still young, because Leafy was ears. Dude, like it doesn't make sense. People saying, oh, I think YouTube was more fun in this kind of time period because it was like more of the Wild West and you could do different things to be more interesting and stuff like that, and it's like it wasn't as heavily censored and regulated. That doesn't mean you wish you were still young. That just means you have a preference in something. People who said I like 1950s cinema aren't saying I wish I existed in 1950s America, you know?
They can't let go of the 2016 YouTube era. They're like, but things were shot like better back in Leafy era. Oh man, isn't that era? That was so good. Like back when like every bit of content and all humor was based around abject cruelty and like that brothers. I think it's basically the remnants of that tendency still marring the internet.
Scrolling for no reason. Yeah, scrolling for no reason. There you go.
That's causing a lot of this. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Why I want to talk about this? Why this social analysis is important? The left seems very unwilling to accept that a lot of young people, even though young people tend to skew progressive, young people also tend to skew edgy as fuck. And a lot of what they conceive as being edgy humor is a lack of empathy and care for others, and cruelty made humorous, right? Like, there's a difference between dark humor and, like...
This guy, he's like this sit in the circle, whole hand, sing Kumbaya type, isn't he? Like, it's just... People can make jokes, people have fun. Maybe just don't take the internet so seriously anymore, and you just... We're empathetic and kind and soft. Or just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just being, like... If you've ever worked, like, any actual job in your entire life, like I mean actual job in your entire life, like someone saying, you know, KYS, you know, F word, oh no, on Twitter, it's like, okay, I've had people say that to my face. Like, okay. So, why is that upsetting? It's Twitter isn't real life, mate. Okay? YouTube isn't real life, mate. These are all like escapist, fun things people do online. Like the fact that you want to make this like a public square kind of thing where everyone sits there and politely sits there and whispers to each other. It's just kind of weird. It takes away the fun.
Alright, I have to get these cops off my back now. So... otherwise, this will be impossible. Because they're just bitches.
You know, people didn't take it as seriously. But now you've changed it to be it's not taken as seriously and said you are deliberately mean and cruel. So which of the two is it? You've entirely changed your attitude there. That it's gone from people just didn't take it as seriously and it was kind of goofier to like people were deliberately evil and cruel. You know? People wanted to be the goofier, funnier again. Not that you could be as cruel as possible. People just wanted to be more fun and to have more fun during it. And at the same time, it's I don't know, it's one of those things. Like maybe if you
oh my god.
Like Call of Duty, why you think gamers a dirty word. But like I don't know, maybe people like screaming stuff at you, it doesn't affect you, it doesn't bother you, you don't get upset by it online. Like that's like a lot of people say, it's like just don't get upset by things, you know. You know, people can be cruel to you if you just don't let them be cruel to you, especially online.
Here's a video of Shine. I'm only for an example of my Edgelord phase, when I hang out in Edgelord Discord communities. There was a video that I saw once that was just a child. Just a child falling onto a train track and getting whatever. I'm guessing like Africa somewhere. Like that's like a tool from like the environment and everything. Like that is the type of humor that 15, 16, 17-year-olds share around saying, look at this, look gore, look disgusting, like just the most like horrific shit is all they can believe.
Okay, so this guy was in like gore servers, and he is projecting, and he is like, what's it called? What's the thing when you feel bad for being like a troll and on? You try and go like you swing as hard the other direction as possible. I've heard of it a few times before. I'm not 100% sure, but it's just like so are you making up for what you did? Because like that's a very extreme example. That's a very extreme example. I mean, incredibly extreme.
Fuck me.
0.001% example. So is this why you've swung so hard the other way to try and make up for it?
Humor from? Right? Many of you guys in chat are weirding right now and like manga essing, but if any of you have ever been exposed to like the
you guys are weirding and manga essing? You know what? I'm proud of myself for not being the type of person who knows what these fucking emotes and all are called. God, just touch grass, man. That's genuinely embarrassing.
Average, like, when I was in high school, the average Discord server ran and operated by people my age back then, and I'm sure it's not gone away now. That was the type of shit you would see. Unless it was a definitively left-wing Discord, that's the kind of shit you see. Anyway, I think it all kind of rolls back to the same basic concepts of a lot of people need...
Definitively left-wing! I love that this guy just seems to have this weird idea that the left-wing aren't, like, cruel and awful and terrible people, but they just do it in a different way than, like, right-wingers would, and also he's also just talking like these groups are just like monoliths and like everyone in the group is the same, you know? But, like I don't know, like I said, it's just so bizarre seeing this guy crying about people being mean and cruel online. He's the type who you know very specifically targets people repeatedly and shits on people repeatedly and like makes the ridiculous drama in his sound. Oh my god, he's one of those people who sticks up for his sound. You know, he's just one of those people who the crazy Nazi behind the Christian drama. And is he blaming Kiwi Farms for that as well? Like I said, he just seems to be the type who will directly lie and directly spin the truth and directly fuck with things. Hang out with people like Vosh, you know, disgusting turfs. You know, he's a not good person himself in any way. He just justifies how bad a person he is, as he is a good person. Just like a lot of people on the right would do in similar situations. Like the quarter can guarantee he thinks he's a good person, but he's obviously a fucking idiot. Like, but he thinks he's being a good person. This way, I don't do politics. These type of people are just pathetic. You know, because you'll never get through them anyway, because they think that, they're kind of a wee bit narcissistic, because they all think that they're on like holy crusades, being like the saviors of the world, and it justifies whatever they want to do, no matter who they want to call a Nazi or an evil person or try and ruin the life of. They're okay with it because they're the good guy.
they are, lacking in empathy, they haven't developed it yet, and those that are older tend to be emotional.
Also, I'm just saying, if I played from about 25 minutes in, would any of you guys know this is a video about Boogie 290 idiots?
Truly stunted, man children. Really, really miss the days when the haha funniest content online was just bullying. Like, remember when like the most popular content on YouTube would be like Leafy bullying a kid with autism? He ended up getting shit for that down the road, and then was downfall. But there was a time when like Leafy is here singling out neurodivergent people on the internet, just bullying them, was the peak of internet commentary content. And that is what these same people fucking wish were all doing this. So much about just bullying autistic kids on the internet was content you could monetize and make a living off of. Oh, they think this is so much. You have no idea. The hard nerds for it.
God, he's one of those type of cries that everything is bullying as well, probably, as he makes. Scrolling for no reason, you get the point, I'm not going to do that again, because we're just at the point where this guy, he does what he criticizes people for, just where someone might make like a haha autism joke, he makes a haha Nazi, you're all evil racist jokes, and he just shits on people like Trump constantly, and like anyone who cries with Hassan or anything like that. So he's what he doesn't like, but he's just the other side of it,
Anyway, I think that's the type of mindset and the type of person that's pushing this type of hate. And I feel like the fact that hate has been so strongly directed toward Boogie in this case, someone who, and I'm going to be real, maybe there's plenty of reasons to criticize Boogie, but there are so many people so much worse and so much more famous and much more well-paid and worth than him that get literally no hate, like no criticism.
Like who?
And yet this guy gets almost
like
one criticism.
If you're going to say something like that, fucking give an example, because I know it's on the tip of your tongue. You want to just complain that these people aren't targeting like Kanye West or something like that. That's what I know you want to say. So just fucking say it.
When I hear Boogie mentioned, it's the heat on me, almost always.
It's cool that I can just blow them up and win, though.
It really does.
I'll give the game that.
Just a fucking huge.
The fucking irony of that statement is overwhelming.
And, it's just something I noticed, and that's where I think it comes from. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, turn on all notifications.
Dog shit.
You can also support me by following my social medias, I'll link down below in the description on pretty much every platform I stream.
Don't do any of that. Don't do any of that, Jesus Christ. This is absolutely fucking terrible. Why would anyone watch this shit? Like, unironically, why would anyone watch this shit? This is terrible. There's nothing. There's nothing in that video. If people want me to respond to it so they can see me like lose my mind away, but being like, what the fuck? It takes like 3 minutes before he mentions he's talking about Boogie. He sits there and watches Boogie content for fucking 12 minutes before he makes it about Total Biscuit and Keemstar randomly to complain about the right wing very briefly. Then he goes back to watching more Boogie stuff. Then he goes into his quote-unquote thesis. His fucking thesis. Where it's pretty much just, people are mean. I don't like that people are mean. That's mean. Now let me go back to 2,000 videos where I call everyone terrible people and just constantly whine about everyone and say that everyone's evil apart from me and people on my side. This is why these people I just don't care. Boogie has been the center of 4chan's attention multiple times. I honestly think it's a miracle he's still active online, even alive, seeing how much of his personal information has been leaked on there. What are you fucking talking about, you psychopath? What are you talking about, you psychopath? Do you know how many people have been doxxed online? Do you know how many people have been killed for being doxxed online? You are a lunatic. Center of 4chan's attention. Boogie's a 4chaner. Boogie is a 4chaner, you loser. Holy shit. He has even improved himself both mentally and physically. He improved himself mentally. The guy literally 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago when the Sunny Between video came out, he made a video suicide baiting again. Why is he better? Why is he suddenly better? He said he's been crazy and he keeps extending his level of craziness because he keeps like getting pushback and stuff like that, so he keeps adding like extra layers to it just for attention. There's still drama around this dude, yeah, because he keeps doing stuff so she will feel dumb shit. God, it's just people trauma dumping. Crying about being bullied. Christ. Okay, there you go. My biggest problem with Boogie tonight is content is he makes a lot of bait simple videos. There you go. His honesty videos, I think, became a source of getting sympathy card excuse from previous. name, it's a great name by the way, fantastic. That said, online trolls are the worst. No, they're not. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. How sheltered are your lives? All these fuckers in the comment section and this, whatever the fuck, I can't even remember his name. Xander Thal. What the fuck is his name? Oh, it's there. Xander Hall, thank you. Like, what sheltered life do you lead if you think someone being mean to you online is like the end of the world? Like, seriously? Do none of you like exist in the real world in any way? I don't know. Like, absolute fucking children, I guess. You put. This is what people want to go back to. It's not like people want to go back to an atheistic or Latinist politics first, because, like I said, I'm one of the biggest detractors. And I've never watched a single Leafy video. I don't watch Drama Alert unless it's something very specific that is about someone I'm interested in. That's about it. You know, I don't really get involved in. I watch Tipster when he talks about Boogie. I watch Turtle Tom when he talks about Boogie, or like someone else I'm interested in. But that's about it. I don't really watch drama stuff. So like, your entire point is like a massive drama, and it doesn't affect me in any way as one of Boogie's biggest detractors. It is entirely inaccurate to me as one of Boogie's biggest detractors. I really don't understand people being off-put by dark humor. Maybe because I've had depression for but depression is rampant in society, so unfortunately, well, let us have a laugh now and then, which I agree with. Of course, I'm joking about people, about him joking about his own death and not about people bullying him. Okay, so it's only okay for dark humor if it's specifically about yourself, not anyone, and no one else is allowed to do it. I've always felt different about Boogie 298. I don't know how anyone could get worked up by anything he does. To be clear, I've never watched his content. I'm not making a judgment call on anything he has said or done. I don't know how anyone could get worked up by anything he says. I'm not making a judgment call on anything he said or done. God, COVID's coming back hard for me, boys. Jesus. Oh, Christ.
Alright guys, that's going to be the stream for now. Thanks for joining if you did.
Oh, God, these people.
And I'll catch you guys later.